So basically, all the media is now calling us trolls because we dislike a movie. I wish they would stop doing this. Same thing with the whole review bombing thing. If people don't like a movie or so or a video game, they should be allowed to express their opinion. But although if it was up to Variety and all these sites, IGN, Gamer, they would be the only ones allowed to rate games because they're the so-called professionals. They're not trolls. They're the professionals. Okay, but we will talk about Snow White's previews. We'll talk about the actual box office in the next video. But Snow White had a 2.3 on IMDb. That's abysmal. It's like Dragon Ball Evolution numbers, awful, and no one likes this movie. Okay, so Disney paid IMDb to remove the scores off their website. They actually have redone and re-put the scores. Unfortunately for Disney and IMDb, well, the scores are still very low because no one likes this movie. Okay, yeah, and of course they're calling us trolls. Yes, the first thing they said is they'll review bombing the movie. Yes, you're not allowed to dislike Snow White. You're not allowed to dislike, the Marvels, Dragon Age of Fire God, Assassin's Creed Shadows, anything woke, because guess what? That's just review bombing. You're just a troll. You're just a sexist, racist Nazi who can't accept change, who can't accept the modern day audience. And guess what? The so called modern day audience did not show up for Snow White. That's like they won't buy Dragon Age of Fire God, they won't buy Dustboard, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and all of these woke games that continue to come out. Yeah, but yeah. But Snow White is a huge failure. No one's watching it. No one cares. Same thing of Brave New World. No one went to go watch that movie. That movie did the worst. Does it for inflation, because it got just the first Captain America for inflation. Yeah. Yeah, but Snow White was a huge, huge flop, a huge, huge failure, and I just don't understand why IMDb, Disney, and all these sites just can't accept the fact that people don't like this movie. Same thing with the Little Mermaid. The real Little Mermaid score on IMDb is 4 out of 10, but according to them, if you don't like the movie, that's review bombing. I didn't like the movie. I never want to see that movie again. That movie was awful. And the same thing with Snow White. Okay. And it did finally reinstate the actual score. It's still only 2.4 out of 10 out of 20,000 reviews. So 20,000 people who have reviewed the movie, didn't like the movie. The vast majority of people, and I don't understand why the media just can't accept the fact that people don't like this movie. People don't like Dragon Age the Valley God. People don't like The Last of Us Part 2. People don't like The Last Jedi, Captain Marvel. That was when those movies were, and that's when woke media was actually successful, but this day and age, anything with any sort of wokeness in it, is unpopular, is unsuccessful. Okay? This movie was a failure. Okay? All things considered. Okay, when people gave, well, let's think of a movie that people don't like. Um, The Flash. There was no media sites claiming the media, review bombed it. No one review bombed it because it was a movie that you was unanimously disliked. I'm just using The Flash as an example, obviously, but The Flash was a movie that was unanimously disliked. Okay, similar to Snow White. Okay, but when it comes to Disney, that's review bombing. When it comes to Disney, you can't dislike Snow White. You can't dislike anything Disney. Because you review bomb, you're hurting Disney's precious money. Okay? You're review bombing Disney. That's what you're doing. Same with The Acolyte. They actually were trying to basically make it on YouTube where we can't talk about this at all. Fortunately for us, YouTube said no. People are allowed to criticize movies, and we're not going to ban people for disliking a fucking movie or a fucking TV show. Okay? That's what they want. That's what the left wanted. And that's probably why they're so salty Kamala lost, because if Kamala was president, she would have done this type of thing when Snow White came out. She would have basically probably signed a legislature that considers you disliking a movie hate speech, which means they'll review bomb, which means you can't quote unquote review bomb a movie anymore. You can't dislike a movie anymore. You have to, consume next product or else. Okay, that's what would have happened if Kamala was president. Okay, and so I don't get why people get so upset that I say, "Oh, I'm not voting for right. I didn't vote for like some people," but the reason why is because Kamala Harris wanted to take away people's freedom of speech. Okay, that's what Kamala Harris wanted to do. Okay, people, regardless of ethnicity, race, gender, should be allowed to freely express their opinions without being, without being banned, without being thrown in jail. Okay, look at you. They're throwing people in jail for memes. Soon to be throwing people in jail for disliking movies that are, or divisive games or movies because they're woke. That's the main reason why I don't. Now, not talking about stuff like the episode 1 of Phantom Menace where people just don't like the movie or the story changes, or something like Halo 4. But we're talking about something like Snow White. They're starting to actually throw people in jail. That's what happened if Kamala Harris won presidency, and I wish some people would realize this. Okay, and yep, that's what's failure here. And Snow White, thankfully, is a failure. Disney can go screw themselves.